So I am finally finished as of Friday, which was the 13th, was my semester exam. I went through a lot of abuse leading up to that particular semester. Every day is abuse by these vehicles, whether I go to the grocery store. I just pulled my R2 4K, and when I looked at the SD card, I found that they infiltrated the card from December 4th leading up to examination through examination. So it was basically December 5th all the way to December. I'm going to plug it in really quick. I'm just going to plug it in and see and show you what they did. And I tried my best to go through my last vlog, and I told you that we're going to get into Joseph Rose and the whole basically the hypnosis that he basically put me through. And then I'm going to go through, we need to go through the whole STD thing and herpes and the other things that they're trying to control me with, and the attacks that they're using to control me with regarding those. And then we need to go through what I just encountered from last vlog, which is tampering of my mail, which I ordered a 1 terabyte, kind of like an outdoor tough book ready terabyte hard drive. And the first one that they sent me, I already knew that it was going to be tampered with. I just had this feeling. And sure enough, typically I know that they're going to abuse me with my mail. And by the way, the Amazon inspector / investigators, whatever you want to call it, legal entity guy has never called me back. And this was back in August that I've notified him. Okay. And he's never called me back. I've called multiple times. I have on record, self-authenticating. And he's yet to call me back on more than one instance that I tried to address the August event. And they continue to abuse my mail whenever it comes in. And in this case, the box was had the sticker kind of already tampered with. You could tell that the box had been opened before. And it was supposed to have my Gen, I think this is the Gen 3, the 3.2 Type C, I believe, cord that kind of connects to this. Okay. And then it sticks like this for storage. And this cord was missing. And they sent it to me like that with the cord missing and this. Now, this whole mail piece, they orchestrate the mail around events that are successful in my life, around events that are events of jubilance, events of either elation or excitement or success or accomplishment. And in this case, they sent this, I believe, around one of the evenings that I caught a big fish. That's a very common one, is they'll wait for me to go fishing, and they're always ahead of me. This is why they're always supplanting things in the grocery store, which, by the way, has been a common tactic since last episode, where in the store, they're always blocking things that I'm looking for. In this case, it was even yesterday and the day before. They know I purchased a particular type of dog food. So what they'll do is they'll put carts in front of the dog food so you don't see it, or they'll block it. Okay, either in this case it was the Walmart stocking cart. Okay, so they'll go and they'll block. And the thing is I'll go sometimes to the Walmart or any store, grocery store, and I'm only looking for like 2 or 3 things, right? Tops. And of the 2 or 3 things, what they'll do is, out of the 3 things, for example, like yesterday, I was looking for the dog food, and I was looking for something else. And it was like they only leave one thing. Like they'll leave. So if you're going for, let's just say it was dressing, they know that you always get the same type of dressing, like for salads or whatever, soup, black bean soup or something. They'll leave that particular dressing, only one left. This morning when I went to Walmart, they put a bunch of skim milk with the expiration date of December 9th in front of the expiration dates of, I think, December 23rd. So they had 3 or 4 milks, like full gallon skim milks, thrown in front of the December 23 expiration milks. Okay, December 9th. Today is December 16th. Went in there today, and it was a bunch of, it was, I think, 3, I believe, or 4. 3 or 4 for sure. December 9th expiration skim milks in front of the December 23. And so it's like everything that you touch is either blocked, it's tampered with. Oh, that's what it was. It was the oatmeal. So I went to go get steel cut oats. Okay, I always get the same steel cut oats. I don't get any instantaneous bullshit. I always keep it clean. And then whenever I do decide to eat them, I have to get the fucking chloroquat, which is a chemical that is used for the herbicides and the retardant. Long story short, do your homework on that. So I rinsed my oats, and kind of find out on that particular time, the one day I went to go get those oats at the store, someone had spilled oats all over the place, and 2 of the containers that were left there open were all busted open. And you would have never known that unless you would have opened the top. And luckily, I took the time to open the top, the plastic top, realized that the seal on both of the ones left over were both busted. Again, it's always an insidious. I can't just go a regular day without being abused. Okay, using the frequency of vehicles. I'm going to show you real quick what's going on there. So let's go to a screen share. So again, mail tampering. I found that I've got windows that they busted in the house. One of the first one was a tenant. 2 of the other ones I didn't even know. One is in the very front, and one is in the other room. But to fix those windows, we're talking like $300 to $400 a piece to fix those fucking windows. Okay, so I got 1, 2, 3 windows, 4 windows. Okay, 4. And you're talking just for Joe Schmo or some contractor, right? He wants to charge me $300 for each window. The other thing is I have the city who's got ruptured water pipes from last winter began leaking excessively in January of this year and February. I called them and made multiple complaints, and now I have a claim to file against the city because the water has saturated my entire backyard, literally up to not even a yard away from my foundation. And the foundation now has developed a crack in the very, very far aspect of the house, right where the saturated soil abuts the foundation. And so what happens is you get the pressure from the soil pushing against the foundation, and this leads to instability and puts a lot of moisture in the house and around the crawl space and everything. And so you start battling things like different molds or different fungi, okay? And then the moisture gets into the cement, and then the cement, once it freezes and the water freezes, those cracks get larger. So every time we have a freeze, the water that's in any of the cracks will start to freeze and push those cracks larger. So now I have to file an affidavit, which I have right here. Right here. Affidavit of claim. Okay. zoom in on this. Okay. And what's strange is, okay, so it doesn't have any identifier other than on the very bottom. You can see that. It's kind of hard to, I don't know why it's taken, maybe it's too close. I don't know what the deal is. Autofocus. Autofocus. There we go. All right. So this is the affidavit that I have to fill out because of them not fixing. And now I have for sure a crack in the foundation that I found developing. I can't mow my yard. I have weeds that grown up to 3 feet, and now it looks like a prairie out there essentially. And I got water and moisture that I can't push my lawnmower through. And then when I went to go discuss this with the neighbors, I found that none of this has ever happened before. And this is all brand new. And what's likely going to happen is I'll have to, put it down on record for the house that there's foundation issues now. Also, what they're going to do is they're going to fix it whenever I either sell the house or move out of the house. Because what's typically happened historically is I'll move out of a place and then they'll start doing construction as I'm leaving. And this has always been a constant and perpetual form of abuse. They'll start fixing things whenever I leave. And then I'm gaslit about making a pond or making a lake in the backyard out of it. And then me leaving, when I have the option to do it, or me leaving when I don't have the funds to do it. Okay. But long story short is now I have a developing pattern of dealing with foundational or infrastructure issues because of this problem. And they're done nothing about it. And I've called multiple times. They don't call me back. They say they're going to meet me. They never do. And they play this abuse game. I've got a neighbor, 2 or 3 neighbors who are constantly keeping up with it. And then when I go to mow the yard, they use this prophylactic conversation. You like mowing the yard? Oh, how far does your yard go back? How far does your yard go back? Constant fucking conversation like that. I had some idiot that I don't even know who wants to try to flag me down in the middle of mowing my yard. Okay. I don't even know this guy. He comes out of the house and he sees that I'm ignoring him, but he still continues to harass and try to verbally get my attention and wave and everything. And then come to find out, I give him literally 5 seconds of my time. And he's trying to say something about, did I call the city? Did I call the city? So it's this perpetual abuse where everyone is involved in, creating problems. And I found that they vandalized the house when I'm gone. I also found that in the past, people have been entering the home when I'm gone and tampering with things. This is something that I've encountered in the past in apartments, to the level of, if you do an investigation on Scientology and the abuse and the bullshit of harassment and abuse that those people are involved in accomplishing, and the network that is involved in orchestrating, that's the type of stuff that I would say is going on in this particular house as well. I'll come home and there's like a coffee filter on the ground, and they'll turn the scent wick on one of my electronic power port scent wicks to, like a 90 degree or whatever. In the past apartments, I've come home and someone has messed with the shower head and turned the shower head. So when you turn the shower on, the water's spraying out. I mean, the list goes on. I'm not even going to get into that because that's not what this video is about. It's just about updating. But the experience with this week is this past couple weeks, or I guess 3 since I've updated. I've been focused on this exam. I go to finish the exam and there's people getting up before me. And there's this weird experience that I'm getting from the examinations that I take is these students that are quote unquote my classmates will get up oftentimes either before me or they'll get up and they'll leave. But then I get quote unquote the highest grade or second to highest grade in most cases. And it's just strange to me. I got the highest grade on this exam and it just doesn't make sense. It's just not what I'm used to. There's just this weird, I would call it a social milieu of disorientation that always goes on. The other thing that I've noticed is that I've taken pictures. Where's my cell phone? So I've taken pictures lately of my social media, my YouTube channels, and the browsing history. And what I found is I won't even be near anything on my browsing history that's associated with what I may personally be doing. For example, let me see if I can get my phone real quick and show you. Let's see here, my phone. There we go. They keep track. Google and everybody, they keep track of everything that you do. Okay, so this is why a lot of your ads and your sponsored ads and things will start popping up on your Facebook because it's basically looking at your browsing history and then it starts populating things that you have recently viewed. It could be clothes, it could be items of your hobbies, which I get. But what I don't get is they're always populating phrases and propaganda that's basically in tune with my current mental state at all times. Okay. The other thing that I notice is that they'll use propaganda and ambient abuse in things such as school. And this is one of those things where this is a PowerPoint slide that I picked up out of one of my neurology lectures. And they'll start putting things like this. I don't know if I could dip it down a little bit. Let me see here. But what they'll do is they'll start targeting your mind with things that are similar or look similar to either you or your personal circumstances or your thoughts. And what I don't get is on my Spotify, they're always going through psyops. They're always using psyops, a form of communication, to target your esteem, target humility, or they'll use it to just continue to provoke you about something that they want to provoke out of you. For example, I've been constantly, for some reason, I have no clue why, but for some reason, for 2 weeks straight, the only ads that I get are ads about penises, right? The only ads is about enlarging your penis. Like my husband had X and X size penis. And then and the thing is, it's nonstop. And this went on for 2 weeks, right? When I went to one of my jobs, Care First, okay, a side hustle, I got to one of these clients' houses. The guy had a reasonable sized penis, right? But after I met this guy and took care of this guy, all of a sudden they start pushing these ads on my fucking on my electronics nonstop. There's no other ads for 2 weeks straight. That is all they fucking pushed on this fucking thing, is ads about penis size. Now, this was something that Joseph Rose talked about when he was inundating me with this hypnosis thing. Again, I've got to put down on notes kind of like everything that he said that I could recall, but he tried to target my manhood by telling me that if I was big enough, I would be able to have these 3 girls, or I would be able to engage in these things and all this stuff. And he told me these things. And this leads me to believe that this is why I know, and we're going to get into the whole conspiracy on herpes, on them targeting as a community, trying to use crowd influence and guide me and finesse me into this abuse of taking control of my manhood. Okay. And they're trying to inundate you with these insecurities. Additionally, what they've been doing since I started lifting, this is a particularly interesting like segment, if you will, is they'll take segments of a year or segments of what I've been doing personally, which is gaining weight, putting on muscle mass, and all of a sudden I have this douchebag Will Decker come in, right? 30-year-old, looks like a stud, blonde hair, blue eyes, baseball player, right? All of a sudden wants to come into the house and try to push me around and try to bull me around. And then guess what happened? He ended up fucking leaving because I was going to arrest him. Okay. That's what actually happened. Okay. But the thing about it is he thought he was going to sit here weeks while I was doing what I have to do in the gym, bulking. Okay. And then Care First sends me to this guy's house, right? The dude's got a big penis, okay? And then all of a sudden they start pushing these things, right? In your fucking in your social media, or they start pushing these ads in your Spotify, knowing that you always listen to music. So not only were the ads in the Spotify, but the ads were also in the YouTube ads simultaneously, right? And so what they do is they're always in sync with your motivation, and they're always trying to talk you down, and they're always trying to get in your mind and always trying to keep tabs on every little thing that you do. Every little thing that you do, okay? Even when I was in physician assistant school, there was this narrative that I had a little dick, I had a little penis. Tiffany Stone tried to do that. You know, the whole narrative. It's just like, I can't help that I couldn't get it up around you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what to tell you. I'm 6 inches, okay? So long story short, they push these narratives, and then they'll start abusing you with it by using semantics or pushing these ads. And they're using the electronic form, and then they're using this form with crowd influence to continue to have these people surround you all the time with either big dicks, or they'll have guys that are like 6 foot tall walking around you in the gym. And it's the only people that are walking around you. When you go to the Walmart, they always are orchestrating crowd influence. And your life is always like candid camera, 365 all the time, 24/7, 365. Your life is literally on candid camera, okay? Candid camera all the time. So every time I make a video, they already know I'm making a video. Every time I make a video, they probably already know what I'm talking about. Every time I make a video, guess what? They're always censoring the videos. So even though it says I have X amount of views, I know I have hundreds more views than what it says. And so they're even orchestrating the algorithm on YouTube so that it's censored. And they've been censoring videos and information. Whenever you go to look for information, when you go to look for stuff in school, they're actually censoring that, the stuff that's put out there. And I've been noticing that shit. There's just so much going on. It's just this inundation of orchestrating a reality that's meant to abuse you. right? And the thing that I don't get is these red vehicles are following you around, like these red trucks are following you around all the time, and you're kept in oppression. And the thing is, I said, stop following me, and they still are intercepting me everywhere I go. It's like no means no, stop means stop, and stop harassing me doesn't mean anything to these people. That's a problem. And that's going to get fixed between now and next semester. So I'm going to show you some pictures really quick. I noticed the other thing too is whenever I'm on Facebook, if I post something on Facebook, they'll mess around with the likes, like how many likes get it, and they'll use the numbers to orchestrate something related to your life. Like if you had 6 relationships with women, then it's always 6, right? They'll leave it like that. I remember I caught this fish, I think it was like last month, and I said almost 23 inches. So then there was 23 likes, and then that was left there for like a day, 23 likes, because I said the fish was almost 23 inches. Then they changed it up, and then it kept going. So I know my Facebook is hacked. And they do this all the time because they're pushing this agenda on Facebook all the time. And they're trying to target my manhood with fucking STDs, and they're hiding these things, and they're keeping it, and they're browbeating me over it. And these are the same people who've orchestrated the actions. They've orchestrated the interactions. All right. Neuromuscular toxins. All right. So this picture right here, this kid looks just like me. Okay. When I was young. Now you can't really see the complexion. The kid's complexion is my complexion, but it's not very well seen in this particular, I guess, picture. Okay. Here we go. I don't know how else to like something like that. There we go. Almost. Okay. Almost. All right. But what they'll do is they'll play around with your reality like this. Okay. This is out of the neuro lecture. Okay. And they've done this in the past, even with Toledo, Ohio's Physician Assistant School, where they'll take things that look similar, okay, or things that make you think, oh wait, that kind of looks like me, and they'll put it in front of you like that, and it's always something. So that was something that I had to pick up on the last 2 or 3 weeks, and then this. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, okay. Here we go. Okay. So this is a picture. I guess I should upload it maybe. Let me try to upload it. That'd be more effective, I think. Let me get my cord. And it's not that I'm looking for these things. It's not that I go looking for them. That's the difference. The difference is I don't go looking for these like, oh, okay, where can I go and look and, these are things that they start popping up and appearing exactly whenever I get done. Within 24 hours, I get done with something or I accomplish something within 24 hours. Get up here. Come here. Come here. Get up here. Within 24 hours, these people will manipulate my social media so that it appears on my social media. Stop. Stop, please. Chill out. All right. Let's see if we can get inside this really quick and do a screen share. So it's downloading right now. So I have a lot of photos. All right, there's that. Here. Is it this? Yes. Okay. We'll do a screen share real quick. So when was this? What does it say? Do I have any information on this? Let me go check to see the information on it. All right, it doesn't matter, but it was since our last, I'm just going to say that it was since our last video, our last vlog, my last vlog. Share. Okay. So since last vlog, I've been fishing in a couple different areas, and on one particular day, I went out to this lake, and the lake master, who's the guy that runs the public lake, he likes to blow this horn. He likes to blow the horn to let everybody on the lake know that it's time to come in because he's got things to do. The lake's going to close. Okay. So he does this. I go home. I get back and I sit down on the couch here. And lo and behold, I open up my YouTube. And right here, they put on here, there goes the bell. Bye-bye. Bye-bye bell. They have a video of it. Bye-bye bell. There goes the bell. And this is the psyops that I'm talking about. Literally, the evening that I left, first time I've ever been there to this place. Okay? First time I've ever been to this public fishing lake. The guy hits this bell, this siren, lets me know it's time to go home. I get in the vehicle, drive, 40 minutes or whatever back here. Get all cleaned up, stuff thrown down, sit down. And then what populates is this right here. Bye-bye bell. There goes the bell. And it's these constant things that are always populating. Like I said, at Care First, I'm working for this gentleman who, by the way, his wife was like kissing me on the cheek, and I didn't like that. And then they used this social pressure, saying that I'm the best at that I'm the best that they've seen. She's trying to stir up that my company that I work for, she's not impressed with, and that I'm the best that she's ever seen. And this is days before my final exam. Okay, days before my final exam. Oh, who should I call? And then she's gonna call the CEO of Care First and say, David, oh, David, Sebastian, he's the best. He's the best I've ever seen. I'm so impressed. We want to have Sebastian work or Michael work for us. This is days before. They want me to obligate all these hours before exam, okay, to work. And then they use David, okay, calls David and lets them know this. And then they ask me to work, and I decline. And they want to give me an attitude by using passive-aggressive silence when I said I can't. All of a sudden. Before my exam, this is what Care First does. Wants to use passive-aggressive silence And any other time I say I can't, they're like, okay, thank you, with a little smiley face. And then whenever I say I can't, right before examination, they want to give me passive aggressive silence. One of the coordinators' name is Iris, right? This is the garbage that I have to deal with every occupation that I go to. And guess who contacted me today? Because they're trying to burn up my passions and my interests of fishing. Yeah, Berkeley County. Everybody from South Carolina comes out and reaching out to me because Berkeley is one of the companies that I love fishing with on my fishing lures. Right? So they want to target my interests and my passions and have Berkeley County EMS come out, and they're purporting that $70,000, okay, is what they're willing to pay me annually. Okay. There's all of these emergency medical services all over the United States. Here's another one for you. American Medical Response. I have one right here in Birmingham. Guess what? They always have a little stick out there trying to hire a medic. Guess who contacted me? Multiple times. Guess who's contacted me? American Medical Response. But guess where that recruiter's from? Washington State, Vancouver, Oregon. And so they're trying to get me to burn up my vehicle to go way out there. Okay, 25 plus hours, 36-hour drive, all the way to the northwest corner of the United States to work for American Medical Response. But not one recruiter from American Medical Response has reached me right here in Birmingham. Not one. But they want me to go and burn up all this gas and all this money just so they can hire me to fire me, just like regional paramedic services, which, by the way, was just an exhibition of fog, according to Mr. Hughes. Fear and intimidation, always asking me why this and why that, trying to put fear and intimidation and guilt, and then blame me for things that I didn't even do. And I still can't find her email, Caraway's, the HR resources email. I still couldn't find it. But guess what? Any other employer, any other agency who's emailed me, I've got their emails. And since I have time on my hands, I'm going to do my vlog of service, and I'm going to upload the conversation of the quote unquote attitude that I had discussing that whole training component that I was blamed for. Last I checked, that if I'm in a training situation, that the instructor is always subject to evaluation. And that's been the case since I was in elementary school, middle school, high school, collegiate, graduate school. Everybody is subject to an evaluation. I was direct and transparent. You're going to hear it for yourself. And the fact that Prater wants to kick my chair and then bring it back to and I ignored it and I let that slide. And of course, I don't even want to get into that. But here's the thing is I've got these people who are targeting me at all times, making sure that I don't make money and keeping me financially oppressed. Then I have my bitch parents who've been orchestrating this in the background for fucking years, and my bitch father for years. And I find out the more that I sit and note everything that's been going on, and what he used to say to me was all smokes and mirrors and gaslighting for what was to come, which is what's going on in my reality right now. So with all that being said, I decided not to return the mail thing. I've got windows to repair. I don't want to have any more tenants because I'm just fed up with it. Because they come in the house and they intercept my movements everywhere I go. The other thing that I encountered recently is something, and all of this is like an operant conditioning. All of this is operant conditioning. Everything that I do, every little action or every little thing that I've been doing has been operant conditioning. It's always been surrounded by this whole female romance piece on the side. And I'll explain this real quick, just one example. But again, this is kind of like I'm coming back to my channel and I'm putting the vlog in since inception of last video into now. This is kind of what's been going on in my thoughts. But now I have more time to actually dial in exactly those conversations that I've been touching on, but actually to delve into those conversations. But the thing with this female thing and this romance piece is that all of a sudden I've been getting ignored by thousands of women, and then I have people telling me it's none of this is real, and that I have a mental illness. And I haven't changed any. The way I talk to people hasn't changed any. Nothing has changed other than I just see that I'm being abused and harassed. The other thing is that I'm finding that they're taking these people, or women in this case, that I find attractive, and they'll insert them during the times of abuse or during times of like mental navigation, meaning I'm going in the store and I'm looking for things. I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite positive that this is like the aisle, or this is the place, or this is the number, right? And if I'm going through and I'm navigating something new, they'll use attractive women to abuse me when I make a mistake, when I didn't call the right number, or if they set me up for something. For example, if I'm in the hospital and one of the nurses says, yeah, the printer should have printed and the printer's over there, they'll bring in attractive women during the mistake. And this is this whole candid camera that I'm on at all times. And they'll use this operant conditioning of attractive women during times of defamation and libel. They'll have these attractive women show up when they've already staged abuse. So when I was in life care, for example, or if I worked at Shoals, or if I worked at anywhere, there's no place that I can't even think of. If there's somewhere that I've worked, or if there's something that I'm doing at work, which is going to eventually lead to a negative dialogue or a negative conversation, or it's going to lead to something that is going to cause me to separate from the organization, they'll bring in these attractive women, and they'll even have attractive women be the instigator or provocateur of the event. So between that last video and this video, I was in Hobby Lobby looking for some enamel paint to get on my jig heads. As I'm going through Hobby Lobby, looking for different aisles for all this different paint, I noticed that the only paint that they really had everywhere, all over the store, everywhere, okay, like 4 different aisles, they had acrylic paint. Their acrylic paint wasn't just in a couple aisles in adjacent. It was like acrylic paint over here, acrylic paint over there, acrylic paint here in like 2 aisles. I couldn't find anything. So what they do is they have these attractive women in every single aisle that I went to, and they'll play games as a crowd in the store. They'll play games with your mind like this. And then guess what? When I get over to the aisle and I finally find what I'm looking for, they'll use it up to me, and someone who I feel is unattractive, massively overweight, okay? Not my cup of tea. And they'll put her there. And then I'll find what it is that I'm looking for. This is not the first time they've done that. And they're playing this candid camera game with you all the time. Always playing with your mentation at all fucking times. My doctor, they said that she's not in practice or whatever anymore. Fine, whatever. When I get to this recent doctor's appointment, they still had her name and all that stuff up. So when you go in there, it makes you think that, again, it's abuse, right? It's abuse. If I told you that a cashier wasn't open, okay, and you were notified that the cashier ahead of time, you always go to cash. Let's say you were assigned to cashier number 7. You always go to the store and you always cash out at cashier number 7. Before you get to that store, you're always notified about whether or not that cashier store is open. If I called you ahead of time, I said cashier 7 is closed. Okay, whatever, I'll just go to another cashier. You go to the store, you grab your stuff, but then you're walking by and guess what? You see the cashier 7 is open. This is the type of mental stuff that they're playing with you, okay? This is the type of bullshit that they're playing with you. On top of this, they have these white SUVs that continue to bombard your line of sight everywhere you go. Everywhere you go. I can't go anywhere since I've been talking about it, I think in the last 2 or 3 videos. I have dozens of white SUVs intercepting me everywhere I go. For some reason, between December 5th and December, I believe, 12th, they've erased all of those videos out of my R2 4K. They've erased them all. All of them have been erased. What has been left are some videos where it doesn't even show that I arrived home, but it says that it was recording. So again, they're tampering with it. And then they want to censor the videos to make sure that my videos and my vlog doesn't go out there. Same thing with my educational videos. They censor my educational videos. They make sure no one sees it. Same thing. So, in a nutshell, all of this still remains to continue, right? No means no. Stop means stop. Stop harassing me means stop harassing me. They still continue to do it. I want to make sure that that's important, that I've got that documented and that it's understood what it is that I want and that it continues. What else? So continue mail sabotage, continue vehicular harassment. What else? Operant conditioning out of the yin yang, like nonstop operant conditioning, just nonstop operant conditioning, right? Always been above average in everything that I've done, always been above average in everything, academics, athletics, but for some reason, I'm being placed in poverty. Okay, like I don't have communication skills, like I don't know what interpersonal skills means, right? So the goal for this break in between semesters, okay, I have one more for my A&P, which I decided to do remotely because I got fed up with the students and the people who are constantly, and the thing about it is the students, they'll wait for me to come to school, okay? And then whenever I'm sitting there, for somehow and some reason, they're able to anticipate the things that I'm doing in my personal space. So one of those things was, I remember on some of the exams and the lab exams, I'd get there and I'd be sitting like in the car, or I'd be sitting at the house, and I would be kind of ruminating on a particular discipline or a portion of that particular exam. Okay. And I'd ruminate and kind of go over that particular detailed portion or segment of that exam. I get to the classroom and this bimbo is constantly talking about it. And it's not the same, and it's the same bimbo. It's the same, and the thing about it is it's not one exam. It's not one quiz. It's always the same thing every single time. We're talking, we took like, I think four exams, I think. Let me be objectifiable here. We had 4 exams. Okay. We had 4 exams, 3 lab exams with a final. And then we had, I think, 4 quizzes. So 8 total. Okay. 8 total. And every single time I would go in there, they would be pinpointing exactly what I was thinking about. Okay. Every single time. And this is a common occurrence, right? If I'm having a conversation in private quarters, or if I'm doing something in private quarters, within 24 to 48 hours, they're out there talking about it. Prime example is I'd be purchasing something on my my laptop. This is when I was going through paramedic school back in 2015. What they'll do is they're sitting there looking and observing and surveying what I'm doing in my private quarters, whether it be on my laptop, whether it be on my cell phone, whatever electronic device you could think of, including my own mental space. Okay. I remember I had purchased a set of boots for EMS. So I went over to rotations at Fayetteville, Cape Fear Valley, to go do rotations. I get into the hall. I'm walking to my rotation site. I got this douchebag who's having a conversation saying, yeah, I just bought boots yesterday. And they'll do this constantly, nonstop. They will do this. Whatever you're doing in your personal space, they'll sit there and have a third person conversation about it. So first, it's this prophylactic conversation. It's always this prophylactic conversation, okay, about or gaslighting you. Even Gregory Scott Ahrens, right? Back in 2008. We're going to have to do a timeline because I think it's kind of shoddy right now. A lot of my train of thought is shoddy as I kind of go through this timeline and I express what's going on. But Gregory Scott Ahrens was a gentleman who worked at an ambulance service with me at Williamson County. Okay. And remember, I've always put around bad company. This gentleman, he wanted to, the most memorable thing that I had recall are 2 things. One is he was like this Marine that was a super hothead who was willing to always share like his stories. But one of the things was he brought 2 of these chicks over and was trying to get me to have sex with these chicks inside the ambulance service. Now you have to remember, I'm always placed in bad company. Since I was a teenager, I've always been placed in bad company. And then what they do is they work off of this shit. Okay? So they can have fucking control over you. Well, one day, Gregory Scott Ahrens and I were standing in the front of this parking lot. And I declined. I told him no, by the way. But this is one of those things that, again, I'm always put in bad company. And long story short, Gregory Scott Ahrens is standing in the parking lot one evening with me. And again, we talked about this whole bizarre gaslighting technique. and he stands in front of me, and he goes like this. He yells, and he goes, "They're coming after you." He just out of nowhere, like as a seizure, like it was a seizure. I can't make it up. Like he went into an absent seizure, like he was echolalia, like he was, I don't know what to call it. But this is the type of stuff that I'm talking about. Is this bizarre gaslighting and mental seeding, okay, to your subconscious to abuse you. And so here we are, years later, and not only am I being taunted, not only am I being told that it's happening, but it continues to happen. And it's orchestrated, and it was built for it to happen. And then people want to act like none of it is true. We're going to get answers soon. I'm going to have some answers. So next video, I keep saying next video, but honestly, I've got so much going on with trying to keep up with it that if I were to take the time, it would just eat up so much of my time. I'd rather just go back from the beginning and make a series and then make one on regional paramedics. But between now and then, I have a lot of studying to do, but that's an update. Nothing has changed through the vehicular component. The police are still douchebags, and they're still in a conspiracy under the color of law. I have this today at 1:31 Central Time, William Boyd from Berkeley County, South Carolina, wants to quote unquote talk to me about medic and EMT positions. Okay. Again, Berkeley is a company that I fish with, not them specifically, but it's a fishing company. And they want to target my passions and my interests. And so his objective, this guy, William Boyd, his purpose is to hire me to fire me. Literally. They're going to put me on a quote unquote 6-month quote unquote probationary period. Okay. Where I'm doing what I have to do, but I'm going to be inundated and disarmed, okay, and bullied around by their FTOs and supervisors and go through all of this trash that I've been through with AMR, that I've been through with Williamson County, that I've been through with Garda World, that I've been through with regional paramedics, that I've been through with Shoals Ambulance, that I've been through with Richmond Ambulance, all of this trash, okay, that I'm going to go through, handing me inappropriate equipment, having me go back and forth and denying me my autonomy, bullying me with fear, bullying me with fear-mongering, right? Anything and everything that you can think of psychologically that a narcissist would do, this guy, William Boyd, that's his sole purpose. Why is somebody from a company called Berkeley County trying to get me to go work for them? I have my resume open to the world from East Coast to West Coast, from Maine to Arizona, from Washington to Florida, from California to North Carolina. And you're telling me that this guy, William Boyd, okay, is the only one that's interested? I can't make it up. I can't make it up. Good night.